Let's discuss a question based on chessboard. So the question is, two squares are chosen at random, one after another from the small squares drawn on a chessboard. What is the probability that the two squares chosen have exactly one corner in common? The key point is one corner. Now, what is corner? You have to be careful with corner and side. Corner is this, the point. Okay? Not the side. We're talking about corner here. I'm going to give you two ways to solve this question. Let's now understand this question on this chessboard. Okay? So, the chessboard, whenever you have a question associated to chessboard, there are three important points. From the point of view of visualization. So, just observe this square. Now, this square, that is the cornermost square. You should observe that it's two-side open. It's a two-side open square. Only the cornermost are two-side open. If you observe a square which is on the side but not the cornermost, somewhere in between the sides, you will see that it is one side open. So automatically, can you feel that the behavior of this square and the cornermost square will be different automatically? And if you observe now, if you observe any square which is absolutely inside, you will see that it's not open from any of the sides, right? So whenever you get a question on chessboard, from the point of view of visualization, these points should be clear to you. This distinction should be very much clear to you, because that's how you can start thinking. I'm trying to build up this thought process in you. So therefore, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these three cases into consideration. So the first case would be the cornermost squares. I would like to understand, if my first square is a cornermost square, then in how many ways can I select the second square? So the question is that you are selecting two squares one after another. So if the first square is the cornermost square, then the second square can be chosen in how many options are available? Well, the only option available is this. So if this is my first square, the only option available to me for the second square is A2. If A1 is my first square, A2 is the only option available, where only one corner, exactly just one corner, is in common. So there are four such corner squares. Each of them have only one option. So there are four such cases available, right? Then case 2. Case 2 will be associated to the second thing that we spoke of. So these are the squares on the corner strip, but not the cornermost. Okay, so the remaining squares, corner, strip, the remaining squares. So for example, if I take the topmost strip, how many remaining squares are there? There are 6 remaining squares, okay? Because a chessboard is 8 cross 8, so 6 are remaining. If my first square, the first square that I choose is one of these on the corner strip, how many options do I have to choose for the second? Now the second square if this is my A1, the second square could be either this one or this one, right? Because I can have a common corner here also, here also. So I've got two options available. So I have two options available for the second square. For the first square, for the second square. Right? Now, how many such corner strips are there? How many such corner strips are there? There are four. Four sides are there, right? So 4 into 6 into 2. That is, in total, 48 cases of this type are available, right? Now, case 3. Case 3, I'm just going by the distinction that I have given you, okay? So case 3 is the interior squares. That is, in case my first square that I choose is one of the interior square. So if in case this is your A1, then which one can be your A2? Which can be the second? Now I have squares all around this particular square, right? The interior square. So for the second square, I have an option. This could also be the one. This could be the one. This could be the one. This could be the one. Because I have squares all around. For the second square, I have 4 options available. And how many such interior squares are there? How many such interior squares are there? Well, if you take away the corner strips, so 6 into 6, because 2 squares from every side, right? So 1 square from every side goes. So 6 into 6, that is 36 such options are there for the first square. And 4 options for the second. So this gives me 144 total cases. So therefore, how many total cases are available to how many favorable cases are available to us? Favorable cases will be the sum of these 4 plus 48 plus 144. And that would be 196. So the required probability will be equal to 196 upon required probability will be equal to 196 upon we are in total, what are we doing? We are taking out 2 squares, right? One after another. So for the first square, I have 64 options. And for the second square, I have 63 options. So 196 upon 64 into 63. This was one way of calculating it. But notice something here. The way I have calculated, what is happening is that order matters here. I have calculated it using permutation, where order matters. Because in this calculation, what am I saying? First square, then second square, right? So, I am taking the case that this is A1, and then for the second square, this is A2. Is a different case than the case where this is the first choice, first square, and then this is the second square. So what is happening in this calculation is that I have double the cases. Because I'm using permutation here, I have double the cases, right? Because selection could be without order as well. I could just take the pair. pair A1, A2 is the pair where just one corner is being shared, right? So, should I be taking A1, A2, A2, A1 separately? Well, it depends on what the question is. If the question would have been of just calculating the number of cases, then clearly half of the cases would have been your correct answer. But since it's a probability question, so counting could be up to me. So if I'm taking cases using permutation for the favorable case, remember that even in the total cases, you will have to use permutation only. That is why in the total probability, I used 64 multiplied by 63 because I'm using the concept of permutation here again. I'm using that order matters. If order matters for your numerator, then order matters for your denominator and your probability will be absolutely correct. But in order to find out the number of cases where order does not matter, because you should be looking at the pairs, right? As one pair A1, A2 gives you one common corner, right? So now I'm going to teach you the same thing with order does not matter using the diagonal way of thinking or the diagonal method of understanding this scenario. Now, just try to see here what's happening is that whenever a question where the common corner question comes into play, you can clearly look at the diagonals because diagonals, if you take two squares on the diagonal, you will always have one common corner, right? Always when the direction is like this, you will have one common corner, right? So therefore, what we can do is we can now look from the point of view of diagonal. Let's look diagonally. Let's start with the main diagonal. Of course, it's a square, right? So main diagonal. How many squares do you have on this main diagonal? So in terms of pair, if you will see how many pairs you have on this main diagonal, there are 7 pairs. So if 7 pairs are there, 8 squares are there in terms of pair, A1, A2, A2, A3, and so on and so forth. How many? 7. So you have, that means 7 cases where you have exactly one corner in common. This is just one diagonal. How many such diagonals do I have? I have plenty. So the next case is this one. In this one, how many pairs you will have? You will have 6 pairs. In the next one, you will see that you have 5 pairs. Similarly, moving up, you'll see that you have 4. Again, then moving up, you'll see that you have, and then again moving up, you will see that you have 2. And then moving up, you have 1, just one pair. So here you have 2 pairs, and here you just have 1 pair. All right. Now, this was just on one side. Can you see that there's a replica on this side? 6, 5, 2, 1, right? So, you can clearly say that. So, this 7, 1, the main diagonal, apart from that, twice of these many cases are there. Like this. Like what? When you are going from left to right like this, right? Or up to down like this. In this manner. But this is not the only way. You are losing on some cases here. What cases are you losing? You can also view this with this main diagonal. When this is your main diagonal and you go up this way and this way, down this way. So how many cases will you generate? Can you see that it's a replica only? So the same scenario will happen in terms of number of pairs that get generated. In terms of pairs that get generated, exactly same thing will happen. So therefore you have in total twice of these many pairs. So number of pairs. So these are the total number of pairs available. Now you can calculate it. It is 2 into 7 plus 2 into 21. So it is 2 multiplied by 7 plus 42 is 49. So it is 98 cases. Now what are these 98 cases? We figured out with permutation 196. It's nothing but half of those cases. That's why I said we are just doubling there. Okay. Now, in terms of probability, the required probability, this time we have taken half of the cases or we have considered pair. So ordering doesn't matter. So this is a case of combinations. So your favorable cases are 98. And what are your total cases? Your total cases will be 64C2. In other words, if you will see that it will actually just turn into 2 into 98 upon 64 into 63, which is what we figured out there also. So in terms of probability, it's going to be the same. But yes, in terms of if it's a question associated to number of cases, you just have to find the number of cases. You have to be careful where order matters and where order does not matter.